So hi guys, I hope mko poa sana. Tumewamiss. It's been such a long time before we've seen you, and we've waited for such a long time to do this.
Time refu sana.
Maze, my name is Victor Cairo,
And I'm James Masharia.
and today we're going to be taking you through the session that we're going to be having this whole month of Word. So James is going to introduce it for us.
Awesome. Asante sana Victor. I hope mko poa wherever you're watching this from. Who knew such a time as this we would be home, hakuna kwenda church, hakuna kwenda shule, prolonged holiday. I know some of you are happy.
Sana.
But we never ever imagined such a thing would happen. It's also sad that people are getting infected by coronavirus and dying out of it. Tusisahau hizo vitu zote and the precautions the government has told us to take care of. Let's not forget that hizo ni muhimu sana. And now that we are still at home, ni vizuri sana we continue growing in godliness, growing in our own walks with Christ. Si lazima tufanye hivyo when tumerudi for corporate worship. You can still do it at the comfort of your home, with your parents, with your siblings, your brothers and sisters, your cousins, whoever you're living with. Tunaweza endelea growing in godliness. And we've packaged something for all of us when we're still at home. The government said that holiday inaendelea for the whole month of May. So we thought that since you were home for the whole month of May, we could do something together. Just learn a book in the Bible, get to sharpen our Bible knowledge, get to know how we can put these things into practice and grow. As you're growing up, you grow also in godliness. And we thought of something that we could do, and we came up with a book in the Bible, the book of Proverbs.
The amazing book of Proverbs. And we want to continue doing what we usually do with you guys in class. So we're not going to do it at one day. Alafu the book of Proverbs, all of the 31 chapters, no. We're going to be doing it through the whole month of May.
So every Sunday there'll be something we'll be posting. This being the first one is episode 1, will be just an overview of what the book of Proverbs entails, what we need to look out for the coming Sundays, and I hope that you will be enjoying as you're learning together with us. For us, Pia, it's a learning opportunity. So it's not, you're not telling you what to do, you're also learning from it. And I know you can also share this thing with your friends, your parents, your guardians,
Mom, Dad, everyone.
Kila mse. So, even your neighbor.
The book of Proverbs. What is it about? Why the name Proverbs?
Why the name Proverbs?
Methali.
We know. What proverb do you know?
What proverb do I know?
To say in school?
Too many cookies spoil the brothers.
Too many cooks spoil
the broil.
The broil.
The broth.
Whatever,
man.
I don't know.
It's been such a long time.
But you know what proverbs are. So the book of Proverbs is a collection of many proverbs that were collected over time and were formed into one book. So you could define the word Proverbs typically as a short, clever saying that offers some kind of wisdom. So a short, clever saying that offers some kind of wisdom. And I'm sure you know so many. Tumianga kwa composition and insha. Those are proverbs. So the word of God also has proverbs. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yes, and the proverbs are not that hard. They are very simple to really understand because the book is tailor-made actually for a young man. You see, if you read the book of Proverbs, you see Solomon always, the writer of Proverbs, always referring to young man, do this, young man, do that, young man, do this. So it's given for us for our day-to-day situations, for things when you find yourself in a fix, you can actually read the book of Proverbs and it can actually give you a way forward, just like the way the word of God is made and tailored to be like. So.
Awesome. So something we can relate to. You, a young person at home, the book of Proverbs was written to you. So you've alluded to whoever wrote the book of Proverbs. Many of the Proverbs were written by King Solomon. We know King Solomon as the son of King David. And we know him famously in the book of 1 Kings chapter 3. God came to him and he's like, hey, I'll give you anything you ask for. And what did he ask for?
Solomon, what can I give you?
Of all the things you could give me, God, give me wisdom.
have it.
And that's a wise thing, you know. Who asks for wisdom? I mean, if Mungu anaweza kuuliza such a thing, what would you ask for? So many of you would ask God, give me a bicycle, give me a good dress,
a phone.
A phone, a phone. You go ndo uingiange YouTube nayo to watch, you know.
Kama watatuwatch.
You never know.
So
Solomon asked for wisdom. I mean, who does that? Solomon, and that was very, very wise of him to do. And you could read the Bible, especially in First Kings, and see so many people used to come from other nations to come and just listen to him. There's this one story where there was these two women. Both of them had children, one each. Then one child died. One of the parents alidedi. So besti yake yeye mwanamke mwingine akaenda kuiba mtoto wake. So the other one knew, this is my child, I know my child. So they went to King Solomon, and King Solomon akawa hapo hivyo anasikiza kesi. I mean, that's a hard case to decide who the mother of that child is. I don't think DNA was invented by then.
Not then.
Yeah.
I think watu wote walikuwa nafanana.
And then ni watoto wadogo sana. So you know how small kids are. You also cannot be able to differentiate whether it's a boy or a girl. Sometimes tuangalianga nguo kani pink unajua ni mdemu. Ni blue ni
Hutaki kuconfuse.
So Solomon in all his wisdom was like, hey, I think let's cut through this child and tukanishe mara mbili.
Acha.
Bana. Huyu mmoja achukue mwingine.
Huyu ni King Moise.
Huyu ni King Moise. Because I mean, the woman who had stole the kid, unajua kinya alisema?
Alisema nini?
Ni sawa tumkate. Mimi ndachukua half moja mwingine half nyingine.
Kwani mtoto ni mkate.
And then the other woman was like, no, don't do that. So of course King Solomon knew, mama mtoto hawezi kubali mtoto akatwe into half.
That's a wise king.
Yeah, that's a wise king.
I agree.
You know? And I'm sure you have so many wise moments. Maybe your father or mother or your teacher at school aliwahi sema kitu and you're like, that's wise. Yeah.
But like, is the book about a child being cut into half and just that?
It's not about a child being cut into half and just that. Wisdom, you can define it as having knowledge, but not just knowledge of knowing. It's skillful knowledge, applied knowledge, a knowledge that helps you bring something good out of it. Si ile ya kukumbuka tu shule umekram kila kitu, something that you can do practically. So it's not just sayings for you to know, it's sayings for you to know and do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I really love about the book of Proverbs is the way it brings out very many different scenarios. It plays out very many different things that you can actually relate with. But it says something about the fear of God.
It says something about the fear of God.
Is it? Oh, God.
And that you can see it in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. If you have your Bible, you could go there. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. What is this fear of the Lord that the writer is talking about? Because he says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and we're talking about gaining wisdom. So for us to gain wisdom, we have to start by fearing God. So what is this fear of God that the writer of Proverbs is talking about?
He actually says it very many times.
Yeah, says it so many times. This fear that the writer is talking about is a healthy reverence and awe for God, and about my place in the universe. A moral mindset that I am not God and I don't get to make up my own definition of good and evil. It's some sort of knowing that, humbling yourself to a point where you before God and know that I'm not the one who defines good and evil. God does. So submitting to that reality that God defines good and evil for me. I'm not left to my own definition of good and evil. So that's the fear of God that the writer talks about.
So I think what you're saying is it like a willingness to listen to something and not follow your own instincts or what?
Yes, submitting to God. Because sometimes submitting to God means I have to inconvenience myself. You know, lazima nijikazie saa zingine and it's hurtful. Nilikuwa nataka hiyo kitu lakini
kwanza zile siku nataka kufast mazile.
You know, wisdom says I need to forfeit that thing. to be wise. So denying yourself, saying, hey, I'm not I'm not the one who defines good and evil for me. Especially we live in a world where so many people try and define good and evil their own way. If it's evil for you, then
it's evil for you, not for me.
It's not for me. If it's good for me, that's not true. We are not the ones who define good and evil. Okay. God does. So the book of Proverbs, it's us submitting to God's moral law of us submitting to his definition of good and evil.
So it's about, I think, also about different themes that we see in the book of Proverbs.
Yes, some of them like diligence and laziness. Be diligent in what you do. Don't be lazy. You can find that in Proverbs 6. It also talks about friendship. Yeah.
It talks about obeying, like how do you obey your mom and dad as a child, or even your elders as a child. It talks about getting ready to do work and how to plan yourself out during the day, what to consider, what not to consider, the kinds of people you are going to follow and the ones you're going to leave behind. And it has very many themes. I think one of the best themes I like is the way it speaks to eternity. You see, like life is not just what you live right now. There's more to it than you see, and I think the whole Bible is about that. And even the coming of Jesus Christ, it's about eternity and
pointing us to
the end goal, which is Christ, and that is being seen in the book. And we're going to interact with that during that time. We're going to be going through the book of Proverbs. It's going to be an amazing journey.
Yeah, true. So we hope that through it you gain practical skills for living in God's world. One thing that is spoken about so many times is a wise person, a foolish person.
Okay.
Spoken about so many times in the book of Proverbs, as you will see. It's good to know what is this wise person.
Who is this wise guy? Who is this foolish guy?
Yeah, and what are the implications of being a wise person and a foolish person? So the wisdom starts, of course, by the fearing God, will make you live a virtuous life, a life of integrity, and a life of generosity as well. And in turn, that will bring success and peace. However, folly and
for the foolish person,
doesn't bring that end. And before we talk about what it brings to the foolish person, do you mind defining who a fool is?
I'm your master dictionary. Tell me, what do you want?
Define a fool according to...
For the book of Proverbs, a fool is not just a fool. A fool is, generally we know a fool is a person who is not very smart, who's not up to the task. But in the book of Proverbs, a fool is a person who constantly opposes God's covenant. So think about it. Do I oppose God's covenant, and how? Then classify yourself. Are you a fool or not? But also, it defines who a simple person is, because there is a simple divide between a fool and a simple person. And the book of Proverbs talks about that person so much. And a simple person is a person who isn't firmly committed to God and is easily shaked by things of this world. Yani, 1 minute you're in God, the other one you're on the other side doing bad things that are not good, that you've been warned about, disobedience to your parents, stealing, you see those things. But another time you find yourself in church and praying and you're doing all these good things. That person is considered a simple person in the book of Proverbs. And it's very important as we go on, you understand what that actually means.
So does disobeying God make me a fool?
It actually does. You're opposing God. Not even God. Does disobeying your parents make you a fool? Guess what? You're a fool.
Oh my, that's heavy.
You're full of yourself. But continuing, moving on swiftly.
So foolishness and vileness brings about selfishness and pride. You think you know your way. You think you've got your life in control. You think you know what you need to be doing for the rest of your life. It brings about selfishness and pride. And it's everywhere in the book of Proverbs, and especially even in the Bible. And in turn, that brings ruin and shame. It never brings us to a good ending. It brings us to a very, very,
very sad ending. And it's usually the sad ending is just hell, for people who will not be in heaven. So But another question is, I think approaching the Bible is very different, and for us we do it differently. We like doing the Bible very practical, whether it's the book of John, Mark, any, we like doing it practically. And so we have a few guiders that you can use as we go through the book of Proverbs.
Yeah.
And so you can ask yourself the following 3 questions. Number 1, what virtue does the proverb command me? Number 2, what vice does it disapprove of? And number 3, what value does it affirm? So
Come again, please.
So number 1, what virtue does the proverb command from me? Number 2, what vice does it disapprove of? Is it disobedience? Is it disapproving of it? How? Number 3, what value does it affirm? Because we all have those good things that we always do. Everyone individually, as much as we are fallen, we have these good traits that we need to keep up. And so as we read the book of Proverbs, take note of those 3 things, and we shall always try and make sure that we look at those 3 things entirely. Sawa?
Awesome. So that brings us to an end. And the book of Proverbs is not just about good advice. In fact, it's not about good advice. The book of Proverbs is about God's invitation to learn wisdom from previous generations. It's good to sit down and remember that I am not the first person to live on earth, and other people have gone through what I am going through. So it's submitting to God and knowing that God knows best, and I can learn from someone who was there before me, and not enter a pit that they entered. Yeah.
So it's going to be an amazing journey, guys, and I'm sure you're going to love it. And I'd like you to like be very intentional with these studies that you're going to be doing, and this walk through the book of Proverbs, and try and do it as we always do it. Learn and then share with someone. Learn and then we are sharing with you guys because we have also taken time to learn. So let's do this together, and I hope we are going to get to learn a lot. So subscribe,
share,
and
comment.
And also the Kabel thing.
There's a Kabel.
There's a Kabel rod, not the one for school, the one that you ding, and then you're going to hear ding, and then anytime we put a video on Proverbs, you'll be the first to know.
Awesome.
So have an amazing time. See you next time when we do the first bit of Proverbs.
Yes. Adios. Tuonaneni.